Hello and welcome to Coffee Conversations live from the 2022 International Roofing Expo in New Orleans. We are so excited to be having this conversation here on the show floor. Thank you to SRS Distribution for sponsoring both days of our Coffee Conversations. And yesterday we did this very same thing, but we talked to service providers, manufacturers, and distribution. So today, we're taking a different spin. We're going to talk about the same topics, but we're going to hear from a contractor's perspective. So I would like to welcome our RCS Influencer Contractor panel. So starting with Joe, introduce yourself. Say
Hello,
where you're from.
everybody. Joe Hoffman, Minneapolis, enjoying the warmth down here. Kind of warming up. Hoffman Weber Construction out of Minneapolis, and Roofle is a national company.
John
Kiesel, Division 7 Roofing out of Columbus, Ohio. Having a great time out here, meeting a lot of new people, hearing great insights, and just glad to be a part of the show.
And Mandy.
I'm Mandy McIntyre with First Choice Roofing out of Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm the operations officer there. And I'm loving New Orleans. I mean, what's not to love?
A little too much sometimes, right?
Yeah, a little too much, for sure.
Well, so we're going to jump right into the meat of the matter. And I asked this question yesterday, and I want to hear from your perspective, how are we on material shortages? Because our manufacturers are saying one thing, but what's it like on the street? I want each of you to tell me what your hurdles are and how you're managing with it. Mandy, do you want to start?
Sure. I mean, obviously ISO and fasteners are a big deal. But, I mean, we're hearing different things, and the biggest thing that we've been doing is staying in contact with our suppliers and getting a little creative. And, it's an opportunity really for just thinking outside the box. So maybe doing a re-roof instead of a full replacement, or maybe doing something like insulation spray foam from the interior versus, ISO board. So there's ways around it. I'm hearing a lot of different things, so honestly, I don't have any secrets to reveal here, but other than just getting creative with what you do have and what you can get.
Okay, John, what's your experience been?
Yeah, I tend to agree. It's about thinking outside the box, getting your hands on materials, and then catering a job to what you have on hand and what you have availability for, and the client trusting you to be their partner is going to accept your guidance on how to stop the water from infiltrating their building. That's their big concern. How you get from point A to point B probably won't matter as much, just with the climate we're in. So me reaching out, and I've actually experienced some of the actual manufacturers trying to be helpful with sending you to another manufacturer, because they want you to stay in business, they want you to be successful, so they're starting to cooperate within their separate organizations to help you do that. So it's kind of exciting to see that.
That's good. I'm surprised to hear that, because that's traditionally been such a, we don't mention this manufacturer, we don't talk about them, we would never say go buy it from them, but
Right.
They want you to be successful. So that's good to hear that they're stepping up.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Yeah.
Joe.
It's a dumpster fire, I guess. We're very, very thankful we don't do any low slope or not much at all. So I can't even imagine what you guys are like 14 months on ISO. Yeah, but siding and windows have been tough for us, and mostly it's the inconsistency, I think, that's been the hardest. They can say it's in stock, and then they go, oh wait, just kidding, it's going to be here in 14 weeks, and then it shows up in 18 weeks, and or vice versa. Yep, it'll be 12 weeks, and then the next
And then
you
week it's
get it
being
like 2 weeks
delivered.
later.
Yes. So yeah, our production department has been they've been pulling their hair out, but we're getting through it. I mean, it's the business. There's always something to deal with. Doesn't matter what it is.
How are your customers? A lot of us, when we go to a restaurant, we know they're short-staffed. We try to be patient. We try to be calm. Are your customers understanding mostly?
Ours have been. We've been really, really thankful. Our customers have been, for the most part, really understanding. We've tried to set really clear expectations in writing up front before we go into any contract as well. That's been helpful, and communicate with them as much as we can, and just be real with them. It's helped. So most of them understand. There's a handful that are.
You always have grumpy people, right?
You got grumpy people, yeah.
You guys, same experience? Customers pretty
Our
understanding?
customers are happy, and it's actually been an opportunity for us because of our reputation, our connections in the industry. A lot of people that have moved forward with a roofing contractor that's not being upfront, honest, and keeping up to their commitments from the beginning are actually starting to call around and find somebody actually that will perform and communicate, and we're actually getting quite a bit of opportunities in that realm as well. So if you don't communicate, you're probably going to call one of us to do the job for you, so probably bad luck.
Yeah, we obviously communication is key, and it's kind of like we're all in this together mentality, really. So we have some clauses, and just like our introductory email or text message that we send to a customer, due to labor shortages and COVID, there's material shortages. So it's kind of putting it out there up front that, we're a little short-staffed. But I always like to under-promise and over-deliver. So I like pad the lead time, and then knowing I'm going to come under that lead time that I gave them. So
Hopefully.
that helps. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Except on the ice, all right.
Yeah.
How have you been affected in terms of prioritizing? Because you may have someone that's experiencing an emergency. Are you having to flip some jobs around sometimes to accommodate that? You're shaking your head, yeah.
Yeah, it's a triage, like the emergency room. You have to look at each specific circumstance, and not everyone's a life-threatening emergency, and unfortunately the boo-boos have to wait, and you just have to navigate things in that triage mindset is what we've been trying to implement.
It's crazy because you never thought a few years ago you'd be saying words like triage and managing your jobs and moving them around and taking care of the worst ones first.
Exactly.
That's crazy. All right, so let's talk about price increases and inflation. We know the cost of groceries has gone up. You can't go to the grocery store with a bill under $100. Not when you have 6 kids, right, Joe? We were talking about kids earlier. But what are your concerns about price increases, inflation? How are you planning for that? And are your manufacturers and distributors helping you prepare?
Well, I think, again, it always comes back to communication and just having that constant line of communication with your suppliers, but also making sure you have a material escalation clause in your contracts, because nobody knows. Nobody knows right now. And then another thing that we've done is there's a couple customers that have opted for a labor-only contract, and they want to get the materials on their own. And normally that would be something that we would never want to do, but in this climate that we're in right now, it's an opportunity. So to at least keep the business, yeah.
Are they more successful at getting the materials than you are? I find that surprising.
No, but I think they just want to, like with the pricing. So that way they're in I think they feel more in control if they're handling it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. There are a lot of things out of individuals' control. So if that helps them and you're willing to work with it, that's interesting. What about you guys, John? Price increases, inflation?
Price increases, that's unfortunately going to fall onto the customer. It doesn't really cause me too much stress over the price increase. The problem, like you said, the inflation component with our labor force and pay scale needing to escalate with the material increases, I think is, it's a bad thing and a good thing. We're going to have to, on the bad side, we're going to have to pay people more money, so to speak. But on the good side, it's going to cause us to look at being more efficient, because we're not going to be able to afford to pay what we need to pay people and continue to do inefficient processes out on roof sites. So I think it's going to drive us to be smarter and better about how we approach jobs.
Joe?
Yeah, I mean, on the materials, they're going up, but to your point, we can usually pass along those costs to an extent. And I remember 2008, shingle prices went from $35 a square to $95 a square in like 8 months. So we've been through this before. We've kind of seen it. what we're really looking for in this year and planning for and budgeting and doing some major deep dive is making sure that we're keeping pace with inflation with our employees, which is something that it's big on our radar. We're watching it. We're saving for it. We just want to make sure that the cost of groceries and gas isn't affecting them too much as we can afford. So we can pass on the gross margin, but if our expenses go up as a percent of gross too much, it could be pretty tough. And so that's what we're looking for. And one of our primary concerns with it, but we'll get through it. Just takes a matter of planning. Keep your head against the wall long enough and you break through.
Well, let's talk about labor shortages and how you're navigating that. Maybe if you do have any tips to share, any secrets to success, any success stories to share, where are you finding labor?
Well, I've actually had a lot of success with labor. It's actually been not as big of an issue as it has in previous years, shockingly, because we really changed our approach with recruiting to more of a diversity, inclusion, and equity aspect, and just changing verbiage on our job descriptions, our ads that we place, and changing our social media to reflect a more diverse workforce, which is what we have. And it just, I'm telling you, it's like, I feel like that's like a secret that no one is like taking advantage of. Just being more inclusive, you are just broadening your workforce in huge amounts. And we had great success. We doubled the amount of people we were able to hire in 2021 from 2019. Because we started this all in 2020. Yeah.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit. So Mandy's involved in the National Women Roofing heavily with the DEI committee. And so we hear this term a lot.
Yeah.
But we don't always really know. So can you give us an example of maybe how you changed some language or what you did?
So we, like some of the words that we use is instead of now hiring, it's welcoming new team members. Simple change of word. And another thing that we've done is having everything reflect our company culture as far as diversity, equity, and inclusion. And like, for instance, I'll put in there, give us your schedule for the days that you have your children. And a lot of people don't think about this. For single dads that are roofers, that's a big deal, because if they only get to see their kids every other Saturday, and production goes over because of a rain day or whatever, like knowing that they can have that Saturday off is a huge recruiting tool. Like offering that, and that's equity. It's a great example of equity. And inclusion is more defined as the language and the culture, and diversity is really more the metrics. You can see how diverse your workforce is, but are you being inclusive enough to retain them and to invite them?
Wow, that's powerful. Heidi's not here today, and I don't know if I told you my name. I always forget to tell my name. I'm Karen Edwards. I'm filling in for Heidi today. And she always says about these conversations, if you can just find a nugget to take away, and I think that is a pretty powerful nugget.
It really is. Because no one takes advantage of it. And it's like so simple to do. Just be a better company. You know what I mean? And you'll get better people.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
Joe.
I was going to say that was like your third nugget. I wish I had a pen and paper here. So
we are recording
though, right?
this.
Yeah, I thought of it. Like, all right. I won't have to pick her brains around.
Yeah, so I mean that's incredible, just the way you've been able to increase, because we had a panel yesterday morning here at the show on recruiting and the future workforce and what you're doing, and 4 of our panelists same way kind of shared that information of you have to change.
Yeah.
You have to be the culture.
And it has to be authentic.
Yes.
People can tell when you're just slapping on a diversity and inclusion statement with no action behind it. But it's so simple to do, and you get such buy-in, and you're getting more people applying that maybe would have never applied before.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, thank you for
You're
sharing. You all
welcome.
be writing that down and looking up Mandy on our website to how to contact her, because so many people want that, but they don't know what's the first step I should take, or how should I do it, or how should I change, because we've just always done it this way. Now hiring.
Yeah, and it's a different climate. Again,
Yeah.
you know, we have the material shortages, the labor shortages. It's a changing world. And
Wow.
you got to keep up. You got to elevate.
So wow, that's going to be so hard to follow. John, John.
Well, I'll see what I can do with this. I can probably add a little pizzazz to that with.
Okay.
We self-perform our projects with all of our own field people. I feel like contractors that are utilizing subs, that used to be the winning combination for contractors our size and up. But now that's turning around, because now they can't shuffle people due to material delivery. So there is a juggling act. When do you turn the faucet on? When do you turn the faucet off? When do you need people? When should you be looking to thin maybe down a little bit because of when our material's going to hit? Maybe they're going to hit all at once. You're going to need 25 more people, and you didn't expect to need them. So there is definitely a component of material to labor. Just to piggyback a little bit off the verbiage, we started calling people applicants versus applicants.
Oh, I like that.
Just to give
Another
that
one.
emotional connection from our culture, just as we're starting to put out that ad, or that we're looking for talent, and not just creating a, like you said, a hiring now, starting at whatever dollars an hour, making it more like this is an opportunity and we want to appeal to you as a company. Come and let's talk.
It's a family.
It's family. We can make decisions. We can help you out. Unlike a major corporation where there's stringent regulations on vacation pay, holiday pay. Can you be late today because you have a situation? We're working with everybody on a as needed type of basis to be flexible.
And that's equity.
That's equity. Thank you. I didn't realize that's what we were doing,
Good
but I've been enlightened today.
Good job. Nice. So, Joe.
I have nothing to add. We've been super blessed. We haven't really had labor shortages ever, except after hailstorms. It gets pretty thin. But it hasn't been an issue, and these guys shared plenty of wisdom. So I'll just punt that one.
Yeah. The biggest thing has been we've had a lot of people out with COVID. So like when I put those emails and texts to customers about labor shortages, it's really because, we'll have people out from time to time, and then it's kind of a domino effect. So that's been an issue.
Yeah.
You can't really solve that.
No, not what you can do.
Not even a vaccine can solve that right
Stay
now.
home for your 5 days.
Don't
or
go there.
whatever it is.
Vaccines. I've
No,
been
we're
showing
not
cards and
talking-
information all
we're
week
not
long.
talking about that, nor politics, nor taxes,
You don't want to go
nor
politics?
no,
Who'd you vote for? Come on. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
nor Ukraine. We're not talking about that. No. This was fabulous information. Thank you so much for sharing. And a lot of you probably are already doing this, and you just didn't know that was equity. You were doing it. You didn't know. Now you know. So
Absolutely.
I'm glad. Thank you for defining that, and helping people understand that it's just something as small as that can make a difference, but to be authentic.
Yeah, it has to be genuine.
Yeah, because they're going to find out real soon if it's not.
Yeah,
And they'll
absolutely.
be out the door, and then there's your turnover. And
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. So, what about is OSHA federal regulations mandates? We said we're not going to talk about it, but it is a topic. There are. I know the Supreme Court shot down the mandatory vaccines for companies with over 100. Trent was here yesterday. He was talking about that. But how is this affecting your business? And are customers asking, what are your COVID policies? What are you doing? So talk to me about that a little bit.
So we're under 100 employees, so we don't have the mandate in our business. We have policies for if one of our employees does test positive, we have a whole policy written out so that they know what to do, like a resource. We don't mandate our employees to be vaccinated. We encourage it because, again, I don't want to get on the vaccine. People are still getting it, regardless. But so it's just being prepared for when they do get it, because people are getting it. So you just have to have that plan in place and how you're going to strategize. when
And
you have 5 people out at a time.
What are you hearing from your customers in terms? Are they asking you about that?
There's certain projects that have required that they want everyone to be vaccinated on that project, which is fine. It's customer, that's what they want to do. And we've had people ask, well, what's your COVID policy? And here you go, you can have it.
Have it in writing.
Yeah.
Are you experiencing the same, John? You're nodding.
I'm just really just riffing off her vibe over here. It's all good. I really feel it's gone from like this red alert situation where everybody was really nervous. We got to follow all these things. So now it's starting to turn into more of a box checking experience for us. It's not really like, oh my gosh, we have 100 employees. We're gonna have to. And you just know that it's going to change, but as soon as you get yourself mobilized to think what you're being told is a regulation, and then it's not. So I'd like to understand, how do things become regulations before they can become regulations that keeps us concerned and confused? That's the bigger problem.
Yeah, the information changes.
Right.
On a regular basis.
Yeah.
So
you have to learn to be flexible.
It was 10 days. Now it's 5 days. Now
Yeah.
So it is hard. Joe, what are your experiences with that?
We haven't had any issue with regulations. The Osha, we have less than 100 employees, so that wasn't a thing. We're the same. We don't require our employees to be vaccinated. Encourage the ones that want to. And COVID testing, we do have policies for the office and for job sites and crews. It wasn't really a regulation thing, more of a just, I guess, common sense, trying to keep people safe. But I totally second what you're saying. It has turned into less of a we're all gonna die and more into a box checking.
Yeah, it's not the panic anymore. It's like, you have COVID, 5 days.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe we're just getting used to it also, I don't know. But yeah, we've been pretty common sense from the start, and that wasn't necessarily coming down from the government on us. It was more just trying
to help people navigate
people safe.
and understand what they should do, like you said. Yeah, it's good to have that plan in place, something to refer to.
Exactly.
I'm curious. You said you do a lot of residential, windows, sidings. Are people comfortable with your sales team coming in their homes?
Yeah, 100%. We've been doing virtual presentations for a really long while, like 3 years. So it was a pretty easy transition for us. It was pretty natural. We pretty rarely, we're not a one-step close. We're a very consultative approach, sales approach. So we typically take a month or more between our first meeting and when they hire us. But usually it's only the first meeting that took place at the home. The rest of it was already virtual. So yeah, we were able to transition pretty well. It seems like lately there's homeowners almost like want us to come out, right? I think everybody's like getting a little Zoom
They're all
fatigue,
staying in
right?
their
Like stick a
house.
fork in me, not one more Zoom. Like, we'll meet you outside, we'll be safe, whatever. But
And they're working remote and they're not seeing people, so they want people.
They want
Yes.
that social interaction.
yes, for sure.
Yeah, that's funny. It's interesting how the shift since 2020. We're almost 2 years in now,
Right.
And in the beginning, it was scary. We didn't know what was happening, and the businesses were being shut down, and
Grocery
was
stores
crazy.
were empty.
Yeah. Grocery stores were empty. You
Toilet
couldn't get
paper.
toilet
Toilet
paper.
paper.
You couldn't get Lysol. You couldn't get hand sanitizer. And it was panic mode. And now, 2 years into it, we know a lot more than we did, and we're learning to adapt and adjust and run our businesses successfully and keep our people safe just by following best practice guidelines. And I mean, we all wash our hands anyway after we use the bathroom and all for our entire lives. So.
Hopefully.
Yeah, right.
I know.
I'm not so sure what I saw last night. There was a lot. I don't think I saw a lot of sanitary.
Well, we're not talking about
personal
Bourbon
hygiene.
Street.
Oh, okay. I didn't see a lot of that action.
Not on Bourbon Street, yeah, but in general, I guess, for the most part. All right, so we're done talking about COVID, but we want to look back at 2021. It's an interesting year, challenging for some, but we want to look at some highlights. And we've seen explosive growth in the real estate market with homes selling over asking price in a matter of a day or two.
Yeah.
We've seen a dramatic increase in home improvement projects. So, and from you're mostly commercial work. So I'm interested to hear from you guys all what your successes and what the growth that you saw in 2021 was for each of your businesses. Why don't you go first, Joe?
2020 there was definitely challenges, especially with the materials that we've been through. But all in all, it was a good year, and it felt like things really started to actually normalize. We've got especially in Minnesota, we have a really predictable season. We know when leads and revenue are going to start picking up, and then they're going to dip in the summer, and then they're going to jump again when the kids go back to school, and then they're going to fall off a cliff at Thanksgiving, right? So we know this. It's 18 years of watching it, and 2020 totally wiped that. We never saw a summer slump. We saw it drop right after COVID, and then it was this massive spike, and then it was just all over the board. Whereas 2021, our sales graph actually normalized. So I guess it's a little neither here nor there, but it was kind of nice seeing it. Felt like things were starting to get back to normal, right?
Yeah. What about from the commercial perspective for 2021? What was that like?
I mean, for our company, we're not a large company, super large company, but we're powerful in service. We're running 12 crews every day in service and repairs. And back when the housing market crashed, we were saying, what recession? Like, we didn't really feel it, fortunately for us, because of service and maintenance, building the connection to our clients that when they need a roof, they want our roof, and we're willing to talk to them about the price of materials and handle things. So we're almost to the point now, if you're not our customer, we might not be able to service you. We're just we don't have a sales team. Our calls are coming in organically. So really the service development has continued to grow, and just focusing on customer service, which is such a lacking experience to get anything done today, and to actually find that from a roofing contractor where you would expect, a bad experience just going into it, just because you feel like I'm going to call a roofing guy and I'm definitely going to have problems. I can just guarantee it. And we flip the script on them and make sure they're over nurtured, and that's such a welcoming scenario for people to have that. So again, just focusing on what matters, and that's people, relationships, customer service, and doing what you say you're going to do. And we've been blessed.
That's good to hear. Mandy?
I think, honestly, the biggest success for 2021 was just our recruitment, and just taking a whole different aspect in recruiting and really making it a campaign all across the board, but also getting leadership buy-in, and really changing our company culture to make it authentic, make it organic. That's been my biggest success, I feel, because we're just getting more applicants than I've ever seen in the 9 years I've been there. It's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you thought about a recruitment operation?
Maybe.
You bring them in and source them to people that can't seem to find them. You could probably have a whole separate company going.
Hey,
Open
that's
up
not
in
a bad
Minneapolis, I'll
idea.
hire you.
I'd be interested to hear if your turnover rate has improved with the changing.
That is one thing that is still a problem, and I don't know if it's the industry or if it's the climate of just COVID and mental burn. Like, it's just a weird time, so the retaining employees is still a challenge, but it is a little less than what it has been in the past.
Mandy's done some neat things. I think I've got this right. Don't you do yoga?
I do. I'm a certified yoga instructor. Yeah. Every Friday morning we do yoga at 6:30 before our safety toolbox talk. And yeah, keeps the guys limber.
Wow.
Thought about that?
I might come to
Solid
work there.
injury
I don't know. It
prevention.
sounds
It's a-
exciting to me.
It's part of our
Write that
wellness
one
program.
Yeah. So I think things like that show that, we care about you. We value you. We want you to be healthy and in shape and limber, ready to go.
And I mean, it's labor today. They have ample opportunity to go anywhere. So how is your company going to differ from every other company that they could go to today and get a job for exactly the amount of money they want? So
One of our panelists yesterday morning talking about this said he's not even competing with all the other roofing companies out there. He's competing with every company out there. So he has to change his business to be a company of choice.
yes,
That-
I love that.
That people want to come and work for because it's so great. Like drink the Kool-Aid. Everybody drinks the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, well, at one point we hired a social media person to kind of make roofing look cool and fun, and it did help with just different like TikTok videos and stories and reels and getting guys to like record like a silly little dance like in front of one of our trucks or something like that. But hey, it's different times. You have to do different things.
It's true. Roofers Coffee Shop just started a TikTok Megan's gone. She's going to go play at the SRS distribution. But, we put some fun little videos up there, and we get like 1,000 views. And I've not been on TikTok. I don't know if you guys do it, but it is, it's highly popular. So
I made one accidentally, but it was like, it wasn't anything crazy. But I was like, oh, did I just... Okay, there it is.
There it is. I'm out there. I'm a TikTok star. Yeah. So we have to be willing to try new things.
Yeah.
To try new technologies, and to reach people where they are. I think that's
meeting people
key.
where they're at.
Yeah.
And everyone wants everything. I mean, the Great Recession or Resignation. I mean, people are picky, and
Yeah.
got to give them what they want
It's
if you
been
want
crazy.
them.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about 2022. Get your crystal balls out. And what do you see happening in the industry? How can contractors be ready? Because you kind of have to do this anyway every year as you're looking at your business and what's coming. What are your feelings about 2022? You want to start, Joe?
I feel great. Every leading indicator we have is off the charts. Our sales for January were off the charts. We got some new revenue generation strategies that are really promising. So we feel good about it. I think it's going to be materials are going to continue to be a challenge, especially for you low slope folks. But siding we're anticipating to normalize this year, so that's going to be great for the hairlines of the guys in our production. That's we're really optimistic. We're super bullish on the year.
Cool. John?
We're definitely optimistic. We have a lot of projects that are in contract phase, so I think everything's in the balance of what goes on next politically. What's the next impact on the world going to be? So I'm seeing a lot of educated buyers looking at things and kind of waiting till the last minute deadline to make their decision on if they're going to move forward with a large project or not, because the next day you could turn on the news and there's going to be an invasion, who knows what, another variant, this or that. So we're seeing a lot of bigger clients just being more hesitant to pulling the trigger. That's been a little bit of I understand, but we're still optimistic. We have to be hope, right, as people, that things will work out, and I think we're going to course correct as an industry, and some of the people that probably shouldn't be in our industry anyway may go away, and I'm not necessarily super sad about that. And that will hopefully free up some of the great workers that just may have been paired up with maybe a bad company to begin with. So I think we're going to course correct is my optimistic vision.
Excellent. Mandy?
Well, we just had a 2-day strategic planning meeting right before the IRE, actually, off-site, to really put a whole plan together for this year as far as marketing, financials, everything, production, everything. So we have a solid plan in place, and I feel really good about it. But I think the key is just maintaining that communication across the board with your workforce, with your customers, with your suppliers, because without strong communication in all of those realms, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So you have to be strong in all aspects of communication.
I will add advice for roofing companies that I add in every single podcast I do is know your numbers. For the people that don't know your numbers, go on, watch a Khan Academy on profit and loss statements, balance sheet, statement of cash flows.
Khan Academy.
Yeah, or whatever. Google it, doesn't matter. Take a course, go to a community college, just know your numbers. That's always my top advice.
Yeah, there's a lot of businesses that don't.
Yeah, no, that's great, Joe. Numbers-based culture. That's what we talked about. Numbers-based culture. Know the score. You got to know the score.
And sometimes you do need to go off-site because you're so caught up in your business every day that you're there.
Yeah.
Right?
So that otherwise I couldn't focus if I was at the office. So getting off-site, it's like you kind of get the whole picture and you see things differently and more clear.
Are you traction?
Yes. VTO.
Got it. That's
super
EOS.
powerful.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
The entrepreneurial operating system. Yeah, we at Roofers Coffee Shop, we've read the books and we're kind of self-implementing a little bit of that with our VTOs and our level 10 meetings and whatnot. So, and it's really helped us, get some focus and get some structure.
I love it. It helps you stay on track and regimented.
Yeah.
It turned our company around 7 years ago. Total just 180. It was really powerful.
So there's another nugget. Traction.
It's like $15 on Amazon for the book. I think there's two. There's one that's more, this is how you do it, and there's one that's more of a story of a company that went through it. Yeah, Get a Grip. Thank you, John. I knew. I've read that. I just couldn't remember the title. Wow. So one question not on my list, so you don't know I'm going to ask it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm just curious.
I wasn't there last night.
Curveball coming.
Wasn't me.
No.
I was out and about last night, so what are you going to
It's not related to New Orleans. I'm curious, the growth of different parts of the industry. I'm hearing and seeing a lot of metal is becoming more, seeing a lot of growth. People have interest in sustainability, whether that's solar or reflectivity. When you're having conversations with your clients, are these topics that they're asking about? Efficiency, sustainability, what are those conversations like?
We've had customers ask if we recycle our shingles, and we do go to a yard that does recycle the shingles. And metal roof, I have seen a lot of people ask about, do you do metal roofs? Which we do, and I think people are just looking for different options. Like, I don't know, I just feel like everyone's looking at things differently, and so they're not just thinking of just a normal roof anymore, because they're home more too, and I don't know. So I've seen like questions about more decorative shingles or high-end shingles or metal, stuff like that.
People taking pride in their homes.
Yeah.
All right, John.
I have the Biden fly flying around.
I know.
I was like,
He was.
How do you stick them in here? You must have
He's been hitting me too.
He was buzzing over here.
What happened? So sorry about that. If I get a fly, just go ahead and smack me in the head, whatever. I don't want to be on TikTok. So
no, it's going to go viral now.
that'd be good. I haven't noticed anything really mobilizing on the commercial side of things where people are looking to figure out a way to spend more money to be green or conservative for the environment. I just haven't seen anybody approach that. It's more of a, how can we keep the water out of my building? I need to take care of situations. So just in our city area we service, it's not uberly worried about environmental concerns. It's just not present for us.
Yeah, it seems to be more, it feels like it's more of a thing for home owners, residential versus commercial. And Joe, you certainly would have some insight into that.
What we've always seen, as far as I can remember, is energy conservation, but more from a cost perspective. They want their homes to feel warmer. They want to save money on their energy bills, and that naturally leads into more energy conservation. But I will say one of our big pushes this year, and I think it's a hot topic everywhere right now, it's the trending thing, is solar. And there's some really, if you look at the market adoption rates in some other countries like Australia, and how our country's trending towards solar, the adoption of electric cars and how well they pair with solar, that's probably going to be I think it's pretty
coming.
safe to say it's going to be a big move. So we're just starting to learn how to do it right now. And I think we've sold, 5 or 10 projects. And we need to sell 5 or 10 more before we get certified. And just kind of slowly inching our way into that area.
Our GAF released solar integrated shingle.
Yes, they did.
I know. I think Certainteed had one for maybe one of the first. I'm not sure if that's still there. But have you looked at these kind of the integrated, the Tesla, the GAF, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, Tesla is so expensive and such limited availability, and it's really hard to get in. They have very specific contractors, and there's just not enough product to go around, and what there is insanely expensive. So we have, I think, the typical panels. Now, GAF, what they have, could absolutely be a game changer. So we'll see. We weren't one of the contractors that got invited out of the gate. So maybe 2023 for
They'll
GAF.
open that up a little more.
That's my prediction
out.
on it. So.
Are you seeing people, Mandy, asking about solar?
Yeah, we used to get a lot with solar skylights, solar panel skylights. They open and close with the solar panel. But yeah, there are more people that are questioning solar roofing and more energy efficient, earth conscious products for sure. Yeah.
So it's coming. So be open-minded
Oh,
and
yeah.
willing to learn about it,
Yeah.
and maybe get trained or certified if that's what it requires. And I mean, there's still some things that the roofing industry is figuring out. Does the roofing contractor do the electrical? Does an electrical contractor do the electrical?
Electrical
Elect-
contractor.
yeah.
I can answer that one for
Roofing
you.
company
You don't want to
does-
burn the
yeah.
house down.
No, we are not having roofers wire up houses.
Okay, so yeah, you need a partnership and a good partner that's going to, do the kind of work that you expect, and, because that's your brand and your reputation when you're dealing with that. Wow, so you guys, this has been a really great conversation. I know we still have a little bit of time left before the top of the hour, but we're going to wrap up just a little bit early because we have interviews to get to and the rest of the show floor to see. But this is going to be the perfect segue. Well, first of all, before I say what's coming, I do want to thank SRS Distribution for sponsoring this live conversation. There's nothing better than being here at the International Roofing Expo and getting the pulse of what's happening in the industry from the horse's mouth. Fly is on your shoulder.
Thank you.
He's there. So coming up on February 10th, we have a really exciting, that's just next week, at Coffee Conversations that Mandy's going to be a part of. And it is in celebration of Black History Month.
Yes.
And diversity, equity, and inclusion
Yes.
in roofing. So if you liked that little taste that you got earlier in the program, please register. Information is on RoofersCoffeeShop.com, so you can sign up. That will be Thursday, February 10th. It's always 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central, 7 Pacific.
I'm excited about that. We have
Me too.
2 amazing, very accomplished Black women in the roofing industry that are going to share their story. And, this is your opportunity to just start looking into diversity, equity, inclusion. So I really encourage everyone to watch it.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mandy, and thank you all for being here. It was wonderful to hear from you and to hear your stories and bite and fly.
now.
Sorry. Yes. Thank you,
Geez, Donna.
everybody, for watching and tuning in. We hope you got some nuggets out of this, and we'll be broadcasting throughout the day from the Roofers Coffee Shop soundstage, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, ring that bell so you get the notifications, and if you are here at the show, our very own Megan Ellsworth is
Yes.
taking the stage
Yes.
at 2 o'clock. That might be why we're ending a little early, too, so we can go support her. She'll be playing at the SRS tailgate out in the parking lot for for an hour or so. So
And she is so awesome. I love her music. Like, really love it. It's so good.
She's very good. She's playing all original music. She doesn't cover anybody else's. She is authentically original. So if you have
Writes
a
her own
chance,
songs.
yeah. If you have a chance to get out there,
Don't send
swing
me.
by.
You got the
I
body
know,
fly.
he's after you.
Cut.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great show, and thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you later.